Coach, when they ask you about the playoffs, can you do a Jim Mora? Can you do a
All right, being joined now by co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach Mickey Conn. Y'all fire away with questions whenever you're ready.
I would imagine that the South Carolina-Tennessee game film caught your attention right away.
Of course, just like it probably did everybody.
What did you see that they did a little different in that game to have so much success?
Well, they were very creative with Bell, moving him around and different spots and where they put him. And, you know, they spread the ball out and got the ball in the hands of different people. They did a great job with formations, shifts, motions, just a lot of creativity on offense, I thought.
Mickey, when you break things down against South Carolina, do you kind of discount games where maybe the offense didn't look as good? Maybe just take a look at the Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Tennessee type of offense. How does that work?
Well, I think in every game you do something well, you know, so you try to go into every game and find, hey, maybe they did something out of this formation or this set that was really good, you know, so you try to find those things that they did do well, and in those games you try to find out some of their weaknesses and how people try to defeat them and attack them. So, you know, and what they struggle with. So you can find that in games, in blowout games, good games, bad games. You can find something. So we're searching for every little nugget we can find.
What would be your evaluation of Spencer Rattler?
Yeah, I thought he played really well. I think he's gotten better as the season's gotten going. You talking about a guy that transfers in, has to learn a new offense, and you know, he's gotten better every week.
You mentioned all the motions and shifts and stuff. Was that new per se, or?
No, I don't think so. I think they've been doing it all along, but it's different with personnel and personnel groupings. I mean, you're taking a tight end now and you're putting him at running back, and you're moving him in a lot of different spots to get in the ball because your running backs have been hurt. So, you know, just trying to figure out, you know, where they're going to put all their guys and where they're going to be. A lot of times you can find tendencies with alignments, but you know, when they're moving a guy around in different spots, you know, it's not just one guy. I mean, several guys in different spots. It's hard to find those tendencies.
Spencer's such an interesting kind of story because, you know, 2 years ago people were talking about him as maybe the #1 pick in the draft, and then he's benched, transfers, and has sort of a quiet start to the year, and then goes off like that. Like, what have you seen as you've kind of looked at progression of film from him that's changed or developed?
Yeah, he's just competing. He's just out there competing and you know, winning his team over and winning the crowd over. So, you know, that's what he's done a good job with.
I assume you still see the same kind of first-round draft pick talent, even if the numbers didn't necessarily always.
Right. He's a really good player. Really good player.
Who would you say has been your most consistent cover guy this year?
I think Nate Wiggins has been the most consistent. He's been really good and really improved, you know, since that Wake Forest game. You know, I think he got a little rattled with some of the pass interference calls, and those guys made some contested catches that were he was there. They just made some good catches, good plays. But I mean, you know, for him to battle off of that and just be mentally tough and come back in the way he's played and covered, you know, just really, really proud of him, what he's done.
Not asking for any game plan secrets, but when you play an offense, it's got a lot of confidence. You can talk about scheme, you can talk about playing different coverages, but it really comes down to stop the run and get pressure. I mean, winning it up front, right?
Sure. I think defensively, man, it's the energy and the enthusiasm, and I think that's been the biggest difference for us is bringing that. And I think that playing in Death Valley, you know, I think the crowd and our fans and that support and that noise and all that stuff, man, it really amps it up. But I love the energy and enthusiasm that our defense is playing with right now.
Kind of changed after that Notre Dame game. Jeremiah Trotter said that he just felt like guys really finally dialed in and started doing their job.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't disagree with that. I think everybody's been trying all year, and even in that game, I think they were hustling and playing hard. We just missed some fits, and you know, and it cost us. But you know, we've really been attacking the last 2 games, and those guys have been really in the film room and learning. Not that they weren't before, but it's showing up more in practice. It's more intentional in practice. You know, just talking about the linebacker core, you're still talking about some young guys that hadn't played a lot, and then you move Barrett Carter in there to will linebacker, and and Trotter to Mike, and they really fitted up good the last 2 games, and then getting Simpson back, is going to really help us too. He's been nursing that ankle, but you saw what he can do, moving him back out there at Sound linebacker. So that was really encouraging this week.
Mickey, when you think about this rivalry, what are some of the first things that come to mind?
Just a rivalry game to me is it's a 4-quarter game or however long it takes. I mean, to me, you throw out the records in games like this. This is a game of its own, and you got to bring it every play.
Mick, you mentioned Carolina's tight end. Are there similarities to Mayer and Notre Dame just in terms of the way they use him, move him around?
No, I think it's a little bit different than that. They, their Mayer, they didn't really put him in the backfield, to run him. I mean, this guy plays running back too, so, he's all over the field.
I think Trenton had a half a sack coming into the game. He had 2 in that last game when you moved him to Sam. I mean, why does that Sam nickel position free him up so much?
Well, it's a lot less cloudy out there. I mean, it's nothing but green grass out there, and when you're in the middle, there's a lot of moving parts that you got to work through, and then not only that, but you can bring him off that edge, and you see how athletic and fast he is. So I think and he's been there for 2 years, so he's played that position for 2 straight years, and he's a lot more comfortable. So
I mean, having Barrett and Trotter who can kind of fill those 2 positions so well, I mean, how much is that an amplifier for your defense now having Trenton?
Oh, it's big time. It's going to make us. It's going to make us a lot better. So, and then you throw R.J. Mickens in the mix too, playing in there at nickel, and what he's able to do in coverage is really good as well.
You played in one of the best rivalries in college football. How does this compare? And what is one great story from your rivalry days that you think people wouldn't remember, or just is a great story?
I don't know that I have a great story. I mean, I'm trying to think back. Seemed like we had in maybe '93, we had a 21-point lead, and we ended up having to make like a 4th down stop to win the game. I mean, in these rivalry games, I mean, it doesn't matter, man. You've got to keep playing every play. That's going to be my message, to our defense. You may be up 14, you may be down 14, man. Just keep playing. Just keep playing. These are games. This game means a lot to the people in this state, and and for us, for me, I take that personal, because I can remember, being a part of the rivalry you're talking about, crying as a little kid when we didn't win, and that's how these kids feel that love Clemson. That's how these parents and these adults feel about Clemson, and I take that personal. And I want to, at the end of the day, I want the Clemson fans happy at the end of the day and excited. So I'm gonna, we as a defensive staff, we're gonna put everything we can into it to make them happy.
When you got here as an analyst, was there anybody that said, "Hey, beat South Carolina"? Was there a time when you were introduced around that people brought it up? When did you realize, hey, this is a serious thing?
I mean, when there's not a professional team in your state, it's a serious thing, and I've known that. That's how it was with the other rivalry, and that's how it is with this rivalry. So this means everything.
Any questions for Coach Conn from Zoom?
Yeah, go ahead, Scott from the Greenville News. Here's your chance to channel Jim Mora a little bit. If Clemson wins out, do you feel pretty good about these teams' playoff chances?
I'll be honest with you. I just want to win this game. So, my mind is set right here on South Carolina and what we got to do. And if we do what we need to do, then it'll take care of itself.
Mickey, this is Matt with On 3. Just with the pressure that you guys have been able to generate the past couple of weeks, it seems like it's been
Well, I feel like our defense is better when we're attacking, and you know, I talked about energy and enthusiasm, and you know, when you're getting, I guess we've had 9 sacks in the last 2 weeks, and you know, when guys are making sacks, they play a little harder. They like it a little bit more if they know they got a chance to do it. So I think being on the attack mode, our defense has really fed off of that the last 2 weeks. So, you know, just continue to keep stoke the fire.
And then with Wells for them at receiver, it seems like he's maybe become their go-to guy. Is what you kind of see from him.
You know, they've got a lot of good receivers. He's definitely one of them, but you know, they got a lot of good playmakers over there we're going to have to be cautious of.